Oh, it is 5:15 PM, October 20th, 2025. Call the select board meeting to order. Adjustments to the agenda. We would like to move number 13 before we do approve bills for payment, because that'll change depending on the decision. So, item 13 is the VOSHA citation. Okay, you've all taken a look at this.
So today I received, as I warned you on Friday, the informal settlement agreement. So with the potential revised citation. So there's a packet for each of you based on that.
Basically, what it's saying there is that if we have a violation, amount here, penalty, $4,294. And there, if you decide to join this, what is it, work safe?
Yes,
Yeah, it's basically,
it's item F, so page 2, right before the payment. It says the employer agrees to contact Project WorkSafe. And schedule a consultation.
And then instead of $4,294 there, they'll reduce it for a total of $2,146. Joe has some insight on this Project WorkSafe. Joe?
well, we just had them come through because we had a couple of OSHA violations. So we have them come through, and basically what they do is they'll walk through your facilities and tell you what you should correct and not get any write-ups in the future. And also, they can talk to you about how to answer for the ones that you've had.
So they're proactive.
Very proactive. Yep. I didn't, we were really nervous about bringing them in after we got slapped around by OSHA a little bit. But they'll tell you straight up, we may work with them, but we don't have any affiliation to go back and tell them what you've got going on or what you haven't done or need to do.
Okay. So with that being said, everybody is absorbed enough here and entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we sign the informal settlement agreement dated October 17th from VOSHA.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Tim seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
And
So-
Corinne, you'll chat with VOSHA or
Project work.
Project
Yes.
WorkSafe?
Yes.
Okay.
And I believe that's from the day of our sign, correct?
Mhm.
Yes.
I also need to post that at the garage.
Yep.
Okay, so, Carl, this just needs your signature. Do you want to do that tomorrow or do you want me to?
Do that right now.
Okay.
Who knows if I'll be around.
Crazy.
Is Project WorkSafe, is that a division of OSHA or separate entity of like?
So the way I understand it is they're a part of VOSHA, but they're not VOSHA. So they'll come in and try to prepare you for a VOSHA visit.
Right.
Help you answer all the findings from the previous one and also tell you if there's other things that they see that you could improve on before, VOSHA has to slide back in and say hi.
Yeah.
I know for us, it was like simple things like fire extinguisher sign, cabling, whether or not it's ported properly. Just minor stuff for a factory.
And they do it for free?
There is no sign on, or, yeah, there's no fees.
They're very friendly, easy to get along with.
I find this is the proper way to go about it versus being handed by a citation. So,
Probably makes sense for us to consider having them come out again once the new facilities are up and running and when we're configuring the interior of those buildings.
Well, yeah, the conversation Corinne and Lisa and I had to make sure the new build brought fine.
Don has that covered. He actually will get with Moshe and have them come through.
You mentioned it.
Yep. So, okay. Now on to approving the bills for payment, which there's no particular change, right?
Because the original warrant included the 4294 for the citation, so we'll change that amount to the new.
So what does that give us a grand total of?
Yep, even $2,146.
So that, I'm gonna mark the change here. What's the tally then? Instead of the 76,172.49.
Ready for my computer. Oh, geez.
742449, 74022449.
I'll make a motion to approve the warrant at 74,042.49.
Claire seconds that. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Pass this around for signatures. So you'll be the last one.
Okay.
At this point in time, it's time for public comment. Is there any public comment? Hearing none. Parks and Rec. Update. CIP, remove Pilots Boardwalk project. Hosting of Camp Ingalls, discuss use of Camp Ingalls during summer camps. Jean, I believe you are up.
So I think this, you've heard me discuss that we're interested in replacing the boardwalk because it's a safety issue and, it's the one that's in the we were looking to put a more professional type boardwalk in, but, it's pretty expensive. We're having some difficulty getting, grant money to be able to do that. And then also it will continue to cause us to have maintenance in the future too. So we discussed it last week at our meeting and we're gonna try and see if we can have an alternative trail that runs through. There's still some hiccups there in that we're gonna have to look at the terrain. There's some water issues we may have to deal with or water runoff to make sure it doesn't go over the trail. And then also have to check to make sure that we're not in a buffer zone for the wetland coverage. And we would be outside the wetlands, but there's still a buffer there and I'm not sure what they would say about a trail, so we'd have to check that. So we're gonna withdraw from the capital plan for now. And what we're gonna look at is an alternative for doing it and doing it more locally too, and also seeing if we can fit it in closer to the railroad bed and some of the terrain that's a little bit higher than the wetlands on it. So over the next few weeks, we're gonna be digging into that a little bit more.
Okay. Thank you, Jean. Now, posting of Camp Ingalls.
Yeah, so this came up in discussion the other day. So out of our 3 sites, the other 2 sites we allow hunting, but we don't allow hunting in Ingalls. And we have a sign that says that people can go through Ingalls to get to the Butternut Trail, but we just ask that they unload. But since we've been having activities there with the school, we've had 3 events in the past 2 months, which just come over to Ingalls. We're thinking, I don't know how the town handles this, whether we should post or against hunting, since we are having, last week we had, the week before, we had close to 200 people there. And kids, and so I don't know what the town's position is on us posting that, or,
How does the deed read?
I'm sorry.
How does the deed read? As far as any conditions?
That I don't know. There's always been no hunting for,
Mhm.
since everybody that's on the committee is aware. But I'm not sure how the deed actually reads.
Okay, all right. I mean, it's too bad there that you can't have just one sign that says no hunting on this property. It's, I mean, we've been dealing with it with my own, and it's quite a bit of work that goes into it to make sure that you're legally posted,
Okay.
all right? If you aren't, then they can go there. You know, unless you ask them to leave,
Right.
right? So, but, I guess my big question is, in order, since hunting is allowed in the Nature Conservancy land, the access to that,
So we have on our signs that they have to unload, but they can go on our trails to get to that hunting area.
and they can drag their critter back through.
We don't say anything about not being able to do that. So the only thing we don't want is loaded guns and hunting
Mhm,
on property.
mhm. Um. I guess my opinion would be there that, you know, if it's, and it has been no hunting there before. I think that would be your call. I would look at the deeds there just to make sure,
Okay,
you know, and, I don't know how the rest of the board feels about it. As far as, I mean, it's public property, but we do allow hunting there on the other ones. And I don't know whether or not you want to do safety zones or whatever,
well, I looked at that, that's only like 500
500 feet,
feet, and that doesn't really cover.
cover
The
the property.
kids are using the trails.
Right.
The close-in trails, they're not going out butternut at this time, but they're.
I hope not.
Walk, the storybook walk and so. I think that's.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well,
The other thing that comes to mind for me was, a discussion about the appropriate use at Camp Ingalls that occurred a few years ago. And how restricting one particular kind of outdoor use versus another might lead to some complications.
Okay,
Um, that would be the analysis that I would perform. And I think Carl's suggestion that the deed is reviewed would lead you into that, discussion.
we'd like to. Like to have you have kids there because the school is trying to distribute some of their activities outside of Grand Isle. So they don't feel like they're all focused down in Grand Isle. So we're offering Ingalls to them in the spring and the fall for them to have another place to go to have their activities, their classes and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
that's kind of the push to.
sure.
To do that.
Well, I understand your motivations completely.
Mhm.
There was there was a vigorous participation in discussions about the appropriate use of Camp Ingalls. And really what it came down to is, you know, the property has a specific purpose for outdoor recreation.
Yeah.
And how to define outdoor recreation as the steward of the property is the complicated part, you know. So I think that would kind of be a key part of the discussion.
Okay.
Do you have
a mission statement or anything like? We do, I don't have it with me. But but it's kind of, it's a little bit vague, but the recreations.
Right, so outdoor recreation, I think is for I think that's kind of the designated purpose of that property. And I think you can make an argument that participating in hunting sports falls squarely within outdoor recreation for a lot of people.
I don't disagree with you, but I.
No.
Make it safe here.
Yeah, no, and I understand, right? I mean, there should be a path forward here that,
Yeah.
you know, that allows schools to use the property and for taxpayers to use the property for lots of different kinds of outdoor recreation. We shouldn't preclude another. But trying to make something work, a little bit of finesse, that'll be the.
Did you have a issue? I mean, as far as,
We have
an
it, but
incident
just
or-
it's there.
yeah,
Just, and we've had a couple people call and ask, and we've given them directions that they could go through to the other properties,
Right.
but, we haven't had an issue, it's just having so many kids there. I
Right.
don't think we've had that many kids there before at one time.
right,
So
okay.
And there are no more trips now.
now, we're closing
Okay,
down
yeah,
now,
okay.
yeah.
The safety zone signage, is that a specific lineage? 500 feet, you know, the black and white safety zone.
Yeah.
That around the perimeter.
Yeah, and then you gotta make sure the corners are marked both directions, double-sided. This
Is that
and
a
that.
different posting than?
And then a certain amount of feet apart.
No, it's the same posting. It's the same posting, but then, and then it gets registered with the town.
Gene, if this, Ingalls has always been no hunting, and as long as I've been around, it has been. And there are signs up there that say that, and people have honored it. Is the idea around posting it to make sure it's enforceable? Yeah,
Yeah, and the back side of it, you know, we abut that property and we abut a couple other properties that do allow hunting, although I've seen more yellow signs this year. But, so we, the back side is more what I'm worried about because we abut property that does allow hunting and people won't necessarily know where the line is.
that's a very good point. I get a lot of people in asking about that.
Be legally posted there, has to be posted all the way around.
Yeah.
So,
I can throw out something that may or may not be applicable. There is a conditional use permit for Camp Ingalls that I think dates back to the 1980s, so that's pretty specific about what's allowed there. I don't know, if it's right, but it might be worth looking.
I have an older one because it was, but I'll take a look. I'll take a look.
that kind of leads into our next one there with Camp Ingalls during summer camps.
Yeah, so we have had some incidents here. So we run summer camps there at Ingalls for 3 weeks during the summer, one in July, two in August. And they're from kids from about 4 or 5, well, 3 in one of the groups up to about 10 years old. And they're there probably from about 8 o'clock in the morning till about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe a little earlier for the younger kids. And we've had a couple incidents where, people have come up, it's probably been very innocent, but it's been a little scary for the directors that we've had. And the one incident that happened just in our last camp is we had the little ones, the 3 to 5 year olds, and they were out on the trail walking and somebody had their dogs off leash and they were fairly big dogs and the guy was not visible to anybody and the dogs came racing at the kids. Now we have a leash rule there, but we always have difficulty enforcing that too. So we're concerned about having kids out there and they all use the trails, all the nature, all 3 camps use the trails to either burn off energy or do nature type stuff. And we're a little worried about them being out there and other people also being out on the trail. We have had another incident the year before where somebody came in and wanted to take a look at the kitchen in the building and wanted to actually go into the longhouse and take a look. So this is just a discussion right now. We haven't even come to a conclusion that we want to do it, but I didn't know, we were talking about where to go with this, basically. And we've talked to Tim about bringing it to you guys to get some feedback on how to handle this, because we don't even know if we have the right to close it, or whether we want to close it or do something else, but wanted to get some feedback.
My opinion on it, and I'll just jump in there, is that, you know, it's public property, but I'm wondering if whether or not this could be handled there with a sandwich board or whatever, their signage there at the parking lot, you know, saying that there is a, you know, school activity taking place. You know, the dog's off lead there, we're forever having that issue.
Yeah.
That's where you bring in the hunters,
But not for the dog.
so, but anyway, yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering whether or not that could be handled there, if somebody sees there that, you know, a sign there that says school activity taking place here, whether or not that would change their mind, you know, or whatever, but, you know, I can see where it could be somewhat hair raising there, you know, a person taking a walk through the woods there and there's kids and this and that, you know. Exactly. So, but, so I really don't, I mean, for discussion purposes, I mean, I don't really know what the best solution is. But it is public property.
One of the discussions we had was to block off part of the parking lot and the sign there. But again, we're still talking about it. I don't know whether this would be something that we have to take further or not because of liability.
Right. Anybody else?
I just think when you look at schools these days and what it takes to get into a school. And we have these kids for mornings, about 15 mornings, does it have to or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that, we should consider it, because I don't know if it creates a liability issue. What happens if a non-custodial parent shows up? What happens if, you know, I think it's akin to a school, and somehow we have to put some safeguards about in strangers.
Well, a chain's not gonna, a non-custodial parent there that wants to show up there is not gonna be deterred by a sign or a chain across part of the parking lot.
But if we've said, you know, that the park is closed during that time, then they would be,
In violation.
yes. I'm just worried about us covering ourselves.
Mhm. How many camps do you have that take place?
Well, we have 7 weeks of camps, but there's only 3 weeks that happen at Ingles.
And it's only in the morning.
It's only
Yeah.
till like 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of them end a little earlier, roughly 1 o'clock. Yeah, 8 to 1 or so.
What's bothersome is that there are rules, like you must keep your dog leashed. And that's the first infringement right there.
Yeah.
We hiked up to Sterling Pond on Saturday morning with our dog, and he was leashed the whole time. And we encountered a lot of dogs on that trail. And I would get the same thing every time. Hey, our dog's really friendly.
Oh, yes.
You know, is it okay if they meet? And I, you know, I've got my daughter,
No.
and some of the sections are like this up to Sterling Pond. And I said, do you have say the same thing, do you have a leash with you? Yeah, probably a good idea to put your leash on.
Yeah, and, you know,
And then they're polite, they say, okay, yeah, I'll leash the dog. But you know, it was a really busy day up there. So I think if park closures during the mornings is something that this board would gravitate towards, I would be fine with that from a personal perspective. To help control the environment. I think also too, we were talking a little bit about posting. And if the camps are shutting down now, and if they typically do shut down in October. The rifle season in Vermont doesn't begin until mid-November.
It's archery right now, correct?
Right,
Yes,
So it's really just these first few weeks of October that we have to worry about.
right.
Other
And
than
so
that, it
it's-
really
There
doesn't,
wouldn't be loaded firearms for hunting. That would
Right,
be
that's true.
passing
That's
through Ingalls,
true,
right? It would be someone with, a crossbow or bow.
correct.
That would be passing through potentially.
If the hunter's following the rules, which is what you would
Hunters-
enforce against, and I have definitely
Hunters,
been into.
hunters who use a rifle during, bow season are not going to be deterred by a posted sign either.
That's true.
At that point, Fish and Game regulations are way back in the year. So I think that conversation would be a little bit more maybe nuanced, but I think, closing, having half-day closures or whatever they are when those camps are in session. I think it makes sense. We've got plenty of other green spaces and access to trails. In North Hero for folks to enjoy. If that one park is shut down for half a day. Be my position on it.
yeah, it doesn't seem to me that it affects a whole lot of time.
So probably where to go from here would be to have the committee discuss it,
Yeah.
decide on a plan, and then bring it back
Bring it
to the
back.
select board
Yep.
for approval.
Yep.
And we have 6 months to do it, so.
And potentially just see, look into the legal ramifications of it.
Okay.
That would be great. So, thank you, Gene. Anything else, Gene?
Yeah, I'm on the wetlands thing.
Okay. DEC notice of wetland permit application, Yandell, 1717 South End Road.
This abuts Ingalls. I was here probably February or March, talking about those buffers for the waste. Like, of their waste system. Now what they're doing is, in order to get to the back property, they have to cross over wetlands, and the wetlands reaches into Ingalls. But a couple things that seem making us minor is that there's already a woods road that goes through where they're gonna be putting in the new road. The water that the wetlands that comes into Ingalls actually empties out before it gets into Ingalls, so it doesn't go through us to get to the lake. It has like this minor stream that goes down to a second wetlands, and it goes out on the Nature Conservancy property. So very little of it is actually in Ingalls that is moving around, so it might be wet during the spring, but it's far away from our trails and it's a quarter of the property. The wetlands itself, it's in the public discussion window right now at the state. They've already gone out and investigated. There's gonna be some changes, they said, in the buffer area in order to grade and fill to get a road that could accommodate emergency vehicles, construction vehicles. And they're allowed, I think, to put in a bigger culvert than the culvert that's already there. But other than that, they're not anticipating any long-term impact to the wetlands at all. So
Okay, and
that's the state.
that is for two parcels? The road,
Yeah, he's dividing it into two. There's a front home before the waterfront, before you get to the wetlands, and then you have to go over the wetlands to get to so the driveway will be for two houses, but this section of it will only be for the back house.
okay,
Each small house.
and that'll fit into our bylaws,
If it stays at that,
okay.
one house on each
It's
property.
gonna be 25 foot. If it feeds two,
If. Yeah, if he plans to put more houses there ultimately, then you would have an issue with the width of the road.
right, okay. Which means that you have to go back for another permit or amendment of the permit, okay. All right. Anything else, Gene? All right. Well, thank you very much. Okay. On to the next, planning commission, municipal planning grant, resolution and draft application.
I'll just, kind of give you a brief recap of where we're at. We've asked the, Northwest Regional Planning Commission to work with us, act as our agent. We do have a draft application. I have a hard copy if anybody wants to see it. We'll be reviewing this at our next planning commission meeting. It's actually due by, November 1st. It's basically a competition. It's evaluated on a point system. We'd like to think we've got a pretty good chance of getting the grant. The estimated amount, on the application is $19,420. The town would be responsible for 10%. And I have filled some money into the planning commission budget for next year for that. So I think we want to move forward with it. I think it's time to take a hard look at the town plan and update it.
Okay.
So there's a couple of forms that need to be signed. If you folks are in agreement.
All right.
And just one thing I'd like to point out on the municipal resolution, which is a 2-page document, which you all sign on the second page. There's a box at the top of that that should be checked, which says we agree that the regional planning commission will act as our agent. That's how we're basing this. So if you could, assuming you're willing to sign it, if you could check that box before everybody signs it, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you, Andy.
When will it start?
We probably wouldn't find out until January, so we'd start next year. And that's gonna be at least a 1-year project.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it all falls into the time limit for the new plan?
Yeah, we're actually ahead of the curve on that. The new plan is due in 2028. If everything goes according to schedule, it should be finalized in 27. So
Good.
Okay, do we want a motion on that?
Make a motion that we support the municipal planning grant presented by the planning commission.
Do I have a second?
Second, sorry.
All right, Joe, I'm gonna give that one to you.
Have somebody waiting to enter, so we wanna, can you see who that is?
It says Michael.
You want that,
Ask him.
make sure it's proper person.
It says Michael. Don't like these one meeting things.
It's probably Mr. Murdoch.
Oh, is he coming?
Hmm,
He may be.
Can we ask in the waiting room?
No. But if you want to admit him, I've got the remove thing, so we can.
Okay, so I'll admit and you'll
Quick on the
finger on the remove button. Okay,
When he says hello, remove.
before we move on, so if we could,
Mhm.
if I could get the signatures, say tonight, so I could send the forms to the planning commission tomorrow and process going, I'd
Sure.
appreciate it.
Sure. Once Corinne gets that taken there, she'll pass that along here. and we'll-
see him,
Well, the top, well, I see the top. And then he's in. Do you want to ask him?
hello. We have a new Zoom, a person present by Zoom. Can you state who you are for the meeting minutes? Why can't I
You
see?
want me to hit participants here?
Sure. It's probably the view.
Michael Murdoch.
Lovely to have you.
Hi.
Hello.
I'll go back to mute now.
Okay. We were in the middle of a motion hearing.
Harry made the motion, Joe seconded it. And any further discussion?
No, a good idea.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. And if you can pass that clean sheet around there.
So yes,
Corinne.
there's a couple, so we'll start, this needs everybody's signature, and there's a second page, and this needs just Carl's signature.
Check the box
Then
there.
check the box. On the next page,
Top of the second
this
page.
is right here, check that. box. This has already been checked.
Yeah, that's the one, already have my signature.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you for double checking.
Here, copy. Andy's gonna need that.
Okay, anything else, Andy?
Nope, not on that. Appreciate it.
Okay,
Do I give this back to Andy or where does this go?
Corinne, I think we'd probably like to make a copy.
copy of it.
No.
Thank you, Andy. Okay, well, we're not done with you, Andy.
Well.
Water Board approved the Vermont SRF loan agreement for the water line replacement. That is what, stage 2
Phase 2.
or phase 2? Then we have the approval of the DWSRF reimbursement requests and approved owner representative for phase 2 of the water system. You wanna fill us in on anything here, Andy?
I'm gonna defer to Lisa on the loan fund and the reimbursement.
Perfect.
This is the reimbursement and these are all the invoices that run with it, so I can include that all in your packet.
Thank you.
To
Thank
see all
you.
that, but this is the first of the $1.8 million loan that we have, so this is, it's about less than 600,000. So that's what that is, you have to sign as the
Right.
chair,
Yep.
and it's just one signature needed for that,
Okay.
and that'll be coming monthly now that we are in full swing of that project.
So do you want a motion on this?
Yeah, we should probably have some motions here.
Make a motion to approve the DWSRF reimbursement requests as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Claire seconds. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? That was the DWSRF, right?
Yep.
Okay,
So these only need your signature, Carl.
this only needs one signature.
So Harry made the motion. Who was the second?
Claire.
Claire.
Claire. The check boxes. That's fine, right? I don't need that. Are you gonna just double check this, just make sure that all the boxes there, if applicable, that they get
Yes, yeah.
checked?
The approve the Vermont SRF loan agreement. This is for phase 2 of the project, the water line replacement on US Route 2. It is a loan for $94,900 for the engineering fees. It's a 5-year 0 interest loan, of which, I got some for this, $23,725 is forgiven.
No, thanks.
Not bad.
Yeah, great deal.
So,
You get 94 grand for 70.
yes.
Not bad.
Zero interest.
Zero interest.
0 interest, yeah.
Make a motion that we approve the Vermont SRF loan agreement, RF 3-589 2.0.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Joe seconds. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, so it's gonna take a few minutes to get all the signatures on this one.
Yep.
It's a duty. So,
That one I think is good. Oh,
it's a little bit of everything. So this one, the first one's just Carl and myself and Lisa. There's 4 different signature spots. So, Joe, you want to get that one started? There you go, Jim. Thanks. What's this? This. Okay, I got everything for this one. You wanna go on to the.
Okay,
The resolution is for phase 2 of the water line replacement, project. But yeah, the ones, and it's much like you did for Andy in phase 1, where, like you told the point Ryan as the end of us. Phase 2.
or I'll take a motion there to approve the resolution authorizing Brian McCarthy to be the authorized official for phase 2 for the water system improvement project.
I'll make such a motion.
Harry makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Joe seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carried.
Thank you, everybody. See
Thank
you.
you, Andy.
All right, thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
Get the motion down. Ready?
Okay. Moving on, number 8, fire station public works replacement project. We have a bidding process. So,
You want the video copies of it?
yeah,
You got it, email. There's one there for everybody.
so this is, we received this from AES. And AES will do the bidding services for an additional $2,500. So bringing our bid phase services to 10,000 total, right? So they'll do that for an additional $2,500. Which means that they will review all the bids and they will go through any of all the specifics of the contract.
I think it's money well spent.
I do too. But, so with that being said, we'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to hire AES, provide the additional bid services as presented for $2,500.
Do I have a second?
I have a second.
Tim seconds. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all.
Do you want me to reach out to AES or would you like me to let Don know? I'm assuming they'll want to update our
You're gonna wanna update the
sort of
contract.
contract with them.
Yep.
Don's going away. It might be.
Don's going away. Why don't you, if you don't mind reaching out to AES? Okay, um. We're still working on this owner representative, so I've,
Is that on
I've scratched it. Well, this is on one of the ones that you gave me. I don't know if it was on the new one or not.
That's not-
Okay. Thank
The
you.
next
You,
thing is
you-
asbestos.
you did it for me.
I did, you.
Okay,
noticed.
yes,
Sometimes I forget.
okay.
So here are the next packet of emails I received from Dawn today, with quotes for the asbestos removal.
Okay. So we have two quotes for the asbestos inspection. We're gonna need this anyway. So we have one here, Summers Long, owner of Asbestos Inspections of Vermont. And we have one from Complete Demolition Service LLC. And that is. Okay, we have it from them. So that's David Shea. And he actually. He has a place down in the blockhouse.
Well, I think we have a policy here that says if we can hire a local person to do some work, we should consider it, right?
We have a rent. I think it's the rental of lot person.
He's a resident, I believe, of Fairfax, but he does have a home here in North Europe.
Am I reading this right, that he's already collected samples?
He says I counted exactly 30 samples of potential asbestos containing materials to collect. So I think he just paid a visit and he potentially there said, well, okay, there's this one, this one, this one, this one, this one.
Yeah.
So, and so he's saying that there's 30 samples. Approximately, so. So what is the board's pleasure? Well, then I'll throw out a motion. I mean, we're talking a difference of $275. We all met with David here one evening. He is a property owner here. My motion would be there to accept the quote from Complete Demolition Service LLC.
I'll second that motion.
The motion, we have a second by Harry. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Corinne?
I do, yes, thank
Okay.
you for checking in. Oh, wait, because you, would you please sign
Sure.
the. I thought you were gonna go the other way, it doesn't need a signature, so I don't have it in the packet. It's keeping me on my feet. Thank you.
Ooh. So if you would kindly reach out to,
I will send this directly to David, the science poll.
you got it, thank you. Thank you, and then he can coordinate with Dawn there or whatever. Okay. Lisa, you're up now, I believe, financing and Vermont Bond Bank webinar.
Yes, the Vermont Bond Bank is gearing up for the winter pool loan application process. There is a webinar on October 29th. I sent you the email with the information today. Claire's registered and I'm registered for it. You need to decide how we're gonna move forward with paying for this project. So we've been approved for 4.5. Are we going to go for the full 4.5?
When do they need the decision?
So the loan, the application is due, the deadline is December 15th.
So we will have bids by then.
So you want to wait till the bid comes in to see what we're actually gonna need.
I would like to, because I'd hate to borrow money there that we don't need.
Do you think we're going to need a bond anticipation note, which is a note from the bank that would carry us through until March? Probably mid-March is when we would get the bond funded. Approvals, the application is due December 15th. Approvals are in January, and then we would actually get the funds in the mid-March. We have the $900,000 in the reserve fund to use to get us to that point.
And the CDs,
The CDs are maturing every 2 months, I
every
think, so.
couple months.
Yep, so we have that. I just don't know what you're planning on spending
Well,
for mid-March.
I mean, there could be some site work done on the new lot.
Probably not gonna be $1 million worth.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's, I think we have enough seed money there to keep us going. I mean, in the contract there, whatever there that's gonna be presented out there is that they can start construction there, I believe, the end of March. So, so by that time there, we should have the monies there and we should be solving.
Because the bond anticipation note plays off of the Vermont Bond Bank application. They use the bond bank application and it's about a 4-week approval after you submit the application. So if you wanted the money, it would take about 4 weeks. And when we started the December 15th and approval in January, I thought, well, that's not really gonna give us a lot of, time. But if you're not gonna need any extra funding leading up to March.
With the bond anticipation loan, do you have to give them a set amount or can we draw down on it?
I think we can draw down on it.
So, so if we needed 200,000, we wouldn't have to go for 600,000. We can just draw down as needed.
I think we can. I can double check that.
Are there significant closing costs in any of this?
No. And the rates were about the same, but they're like in the 4% range.
So if we were to just put like a bookmark in and say, we'd like an open loan, it would still be 4 weeks,
From the time we submit.
and we
the
may
bond
not
bank
need
application.
to draw down on it at all. And that's possible,
I'll ask.
just to set it up.
And how it works, it becomes part of the closing with the bond bank that they pay back. Pay back.
So timeline again. We submit
The bond bank.
in
application.
December, the application. They take a look at the application.
Approvals in January,
Approval is in January,
late January.
late January. Okay, that's
Funding.
important. That's important for my mind.
Yeah. Late
So,
January for approvals and then funding comes in early to mid-March.
When is the interest rate set? In January, February?
Mhm. Once they get the approvals, they send it out to the investors and kind of start pooling who's gonna, and then they can celebrate.
I still think that we have enough seed money in there to get us through.
And if we do get bids back. And it looks like one of our vendors wants to start before March. One of the contractors wants to start before March, and if the situation changes, how much lead time do you need from us if we want to include that?
Well, part of the application to the bond bank asks if you're gonna do a bond anticipation. So-
And that's due in mid-December.
Yeah.
But is it just check a box? Yes, we will, or do you need to do a whole bunch of other stuff?
Well, there's a bunch of stuff that the bank needs, although most of that is already done.
Okay. I
there's
just wanted to make
financial
sure that
reports.
we weren't coming to you in the 11th hour and saying, oh,
Exactly.
yes, we would like this. And then it creates this kind of bottleneck for you.
Yeah, no, I've already looked through, I've already talked to the bank and what they would need and, it's audits and financial reports and it's pretty much everything.
Okay.
We already have, so it wouldn't be much to put it together.
All right, so I think the presumption is no, we don't need it, but if that changes based on
We can. pull
the
that.
contractor that says, hey, we don't want to start in March, we want to start in February doing our site work and, we want 150 grand to get going, then we could come to you and say, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna take it out of, some of our current fund or?
And then there's just different questions on the bond bank application. We're gonna wait for the bid, so that'll give us the amount, the anticipation of the term of the loan, and you can defer up to 5 years. So those are things that we don't need to know tonight, but those are things to think about. The other thing I talked to the bankers were at, they came here during a visit, and then I saw them at the town fair, and as soon as we get that 4.5 million or whatever the money is from the bond bank, we're gonna, based on the contractor's payment schedule, we're gonna set up CDs that ladder and they'll match, and we're gonna earn whatever we can for interest. Of 4.5 or whatever, so they're gonna help me set up,
Great,
so
perfect. Hey, offset expenses.
There you go. Love it.
do as much as we can,
Okay,
all I've got.
alrighty. And. Okay, so moving on to Public Works. Review the 2025 general highway map.
And we get the generator.
And then we also have discussed generator repair versus replacement. Talking about the generator there, I am not in favor of replacement. We don't know what's going to happen here with the school. As far as to repair it, maybe you wanna just fill us in here what we're looking at here, Tracy.
Well, they came out to do their annual service contract, change your oil filters, so on and so forth. They discovered several, I don't want to say small items, but it seems like small items at the time we were discussing it, the radiator cap leaking, various gaskets that were leaking and whatnot. So I asked them to put together a bid of what should be different. And I don't know if you guys have a copy of it, but it came back in the neighborhood of $5,400. That was the general spruce it up maintenance items on, which I thought was quite substantial.
Is the generator running? Is the generator running? Is it working?
Yes.
That's all I need to know.
Yeah, it doesn't affect the operation. It is basically, the generators are 2021, I believe they are. So it's, or 2001.
2001.
So that
Right.
basically.
It was happened just after the ice storm.
24-year-old machine.
Right.
The one at school has somewhere in the neighborhood of 445 hours.
Which is nothing.
Most of that is like the exercise time.
Yep. Yeah.
Substantial outage.
Right.
I looked through their itemized list and I thought it was kind of ridiculous as far as, a radiator hose being $295 for a little piece of hose. It's,
Handmade. Well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can have a,
that's what presented the whole, maybe we gotta consider replacing them.
well, I know there, as far as with the new buildings going up there, whatever. Mr. Murdoch there is looking into the new generator there that'll power both buildings.
Yes.
Um,
And then again, the discussion not knowing what's going on.
My preference would be there that we defer this right now until we find out exactly what happens with our school. So,
And I agree with that too.
I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but
Makes sense to me.
we don't need a motion to that, do we? Okay. We good here? Go to the next one,
General.
the highway map.
Brought full-size copies if anybody wants to look at them. I gave one to you to review.
I don't,
I mean, there was a copy in your packet as well. I just
Yeah.
didn't know if you'd prefer the full-size.
No,
That's-
And nothing's changed from last year, right?
I did not review it, did you?
yeah,
Nothing changed. Yeah.
we haven't added anything,
there's no extensions.
Well.
Otherwise.
I mean, this isn't the annual guess every 5 years, they do a full set of maps in addition to the highway mileage certificate. They were unclear as to the purpose, but they, actually, it's been since 2015 they did this. And they just want us to review for errors.
They have the new roads on that, Russell Lane and Woods Road and
Do they do private roads?
no,
doesn't include private road.
No.
It's just, I don't.
Okay.
It's 2 class, 3.
whoever Tracy's in charge of.
I looked at the map and it's the same one as previous.
Okay, moving on to radar signs. Update review proposal budget allocation discussion, so. In your packet here, you have, I believe, 3 different options. In looking this over, I would recommend there that we go with the solar powered, and it's the, what, TC 600 or something like that. Yeah, the TC 600 solar power model. There's a fee attached to the software fee attached to each unit. So I mean, at this point in time, we were looking at 2 units. Potentially we could do other ones. $300 per unit in addition to the price that you have in front of you there, which is 37.
3741.
3741, and then add $300 to that, and then there could be the additional flash strobe alert, which, well, no, it's not the police one though, it's simulated camera flash and white strobe. Now, I know that they use that in South Hero. So that'd be an additional $100 per unit.
That's
So-
not included?
No,
That's
Oh, I see, okay, I see.
both of those are annual fees?
no, it's a
Okay.
one-time fee.
Okay.
$300 there, it's a one-time fee.
We don't need the data collection, all right?
Well, it does, well, so the software. I guess that's where, well, because you guys know me there in computers and everything, so. Maybe somebody can kind of look into that, I'm thinking. The software will collect data. I don't know. In reading through this. If this is something there that we can just pull up. And that we get this printout.
You can only pull it up if you purchase the cloud version. And that's extra because basically they have to pay for cell coverage for it to go from the sign to the cloud for us to then log into the cloud to get it. the $300 allows us to have the software installed, but then we would have to go stand in front of the sign and use like a Wi-Fi signal to download it.
Tablet, phone.
Would we use if we wouldn't have a Wi-Fi signal, would we at the,
I guess we'd be using ours.
Yeah, we use your phone.
oh, okay,
So,
yeah, just a phone, okay.
You just gotta stand near it.
So that's in order to program.
That's to access the
That's
data
to
that it
access the data.
stores.
No,
You gotta go for a walk, stand in front of it. He said if we ever needed to do programming, that he would walk us through it. He said there are various firmware updates and he emails them with instructions on how to get them on the machine. And if we ever need to change the programming so that it's different than what it comes with, that he would be there for support.
okay, and what is the fee on the cloud?
I don't know. I did not think we'd be interested in that. So.
No, I'm not, I mean, if we can pull it up, I mean, can we pull something like this up on our phone or whoever
I
has
don't know,
access to it?
any type of new software is gonna have a learning curve, and he, I don't know if you saw the demo, but at the town fair, we actually spoke with this vendor and he showed me what it would look like on the computer. And we'd have to figure it out.
Yeah.
So I did say, I didn't ask him this, but you did, that he would be willing to give a Zoom presentation. He's from the state of Georgia.
Yeah.
So you could probably ask more specifics. I have also got an email out to Vermont Local Roads. I reached out to you, the last time we discussed this, you asked me to try and find recommended signs. And I reached out to AOT and got no response. So I reached out to Vermont Local Roads and I'm kind of going back and forth with Todd. And they just had their big kind of conference. So anyway, he asked some clarifying questions and then he's been out of office for like a week. The reason this is coming back up is because we found this vendor at Vermont League of Cities and Towns. And we liked it, but I mean, none of us here have ever used a sign, and there's obviously more of a learning curve here than we expected. Talking to South Hero, they run up against that, looking at the VLCT website, what information they have, that's obvious, other towns have come up against that. I think what we're struggling with now is trying to figure out parameters without ever having used one of these things. I don't have any idea what using the software is gonna look like and how usable it will be for us.
Hmm.
I mean, what do we use it for? What would we use it for?
The only thing I could think of is like for a state survey, but I don't even know if the state would let us use it for survey purposes. Cause they'd keep track of how many cars were going through the downtown area or the village area.
And if you have the signs, we can start with the signs and see what the effect is, and you can always add.
I don't know, it might need to come pre-programmed with it, which is, it's. Although South Hero, they chose not to purchase their software in advance and they're currently trying to retroactively purchase it. And she says it's been difficult. I haven't followed up with their town administrator to see if she was successful. But she was saying theirs was an annual fee and she thought it was like $2,000, which is why I was kind of like, we should move slow. Figure this out. I don't know, I
Well,
like this guy.
If he wants to do a Zoom, I don't see any reason why we couldn't do a Zoom presentation at the next meeting.
I mean, what we're trying
And
to
then
figure
we
out
can
is
ask
how
him.
this works.
Then we can ask him those
Right.
questions, how
Yeah.
important is the data? For a town of 900 people,
Yeah, but you got,
is it gonna be a benefit to us?
It seems
Right.
logical that the data would be forwarded to the sheriff's department.
correct.
Right,
That service.
and we could use it for that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, the aid, they are,
Well, I don't.
You can just say, hey, this is, send a car there at 4:35 AM on a Thursday. We've got the highest frequency of speeding vehicles coming through town at that
Right.
time,
Right.
right?
It's a state road, we don't have any control over it. That's when the sheriff will show up.
Right.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
But
But
we
they've
can
been
ask
showing
them
up
for
here and
it.
there.
We can ask them to say, hey, if you wanna lock down some speeding, this is the highest frequency of speeding vehicles happening and stuff.
We could also reach out to him and see if he'd be interested. Like if this doesn't really help them and they're gonna base their schedule on when their cruisers are available.
You got that, Joe?
Good save the.
Yeah.
I Because that would be $600 between the two of them.
Yeah, it's a one time, that's a one timer, so, I mean, which to me sounded a lot better there than South Heroes deal where they were paying the annual fee.
Right, and she seemed to think that they couldn't adjust the programming without that software. That's why I specifically asked Tim, like, okay, I'm not so concerned about data. Cause honestly, I didn't think we'd care with it being a state road. But what happens if we do decide we want it to blink or have a smiley face, or how do we do farm up?
No, I don't think you can do
Updates
that.
and-
Or if we wanna move those signs to a different road.
Yeah,
There is an MUTCD button on this there to comply with the highways.
it basically turns off all the things on here,
Sure.
like,
Turns off a lot of this other stuff there. I mean, it's just what they approve for a sign. But I noticed there that South Hero does have a flash. And so, which gets your attention too. I don't think I mean, in previous discussions here, this was what the grants aren't open until April or whatever.
so, we reached out to, Northwest Regional Planning to ask them to do the speed study, and they said that they would, and they would do it free of charge, but not until we had actually approved the purchase, because they don't want to waste
Right.
their time. And
Right.
so I think we're thinking we'll approve the purchase, we'll have the speed study, we'll apply for the 1111. How we coordinate that with the potential for grants is yet to be discussed.
Okay,
The grant scene, is already, I went back and looked through some of the potentials that we talked about and when I was preparing this agenda. And, some of the opportunities have already shifted.
mhm,
The grant world is getting very tight.
okay,
Um,
well. People have been asking for it, and I think their public safety is a big one, and if this can,
I mean, now that we're finding out that it's gonna be less than 10 grand and we know that
correct,
it's a unanimously approved project, it feels like, then I don't know that grants are,
right,
yeah,
but I mean, that's,
gonna hold up. the
it is,
project.
it will be under 10,000, so. So we could set up, you guys wanna set something up there with, I mean, our meetings are gonna be getting kind of busy here, so I don't know. We wanna set up a Zoom meeting with this guy right away.
So
but-
why don't we do two things? If Joe's willing to follow up with the sheriff, I'll follow up, and confirm with the vendor. I've already forgot. I feel like there were a couple of other data points you wanted to know. Basically, ease of access for the data or,
Yeah, ease of access,
How much does the cloud service cost?
yeah,
okay,
Versus what I assume is a Bluetooth connection. Access data. It's kind of really it. And the big one we'll be looking at. 600 plus another $200 for the simulated flash if we decide to go with that, so that's $800 on top of the 3,700, so we're looking at $4,541 total. If
Per.
we-
Isn't that per sign?
No, it wouldn't be 4,000, it'd be 800, 36,
I like the
74, $8,200, $8,300 total.
Just in case anybody decides to get crazy.
mhm,
Um,
and then I might also have Todd's recommendation if he has one.
right,
Vermont local roads.
okay.
okay. We'll get that for further discussion.
So because that's gonna be less than $10,000, you only pull that from the CIP plan? It's on there for this current fiscal year. Thinking it was- we had it in there for 15,000, I don't know how much it's gonna be, but it's under the CIP threshold.
Right,
Maybe. Let's see if we get another recommendation back
Mm.
for a unit that may cost a little bit more upfront, but has better user and annual fees.
Well, that's just for unit, then you still have an installation cost. Yes.
That would be you.
That's what we got you for.
that's you,
Oh,
you're the installer.
Say it louder.
They make a nice little bracket that just bolts on and you get it set up. So,
So that's minuscule then.
Is it?
I'll
with a
hold it up.
Required mounting bracket.
Right.
Okay.
So, all right. All right, I think we've tackled that one. Capital improvement plan. Public hearing on November 3rd. Lisa, you wanna add anything? I wasn't here for that, October 8th meeting. We have appropriations. On the next one there, review request for fiscal year 27 and begin policy review, so. So far, we're at 134,760. Correct, Lisa? For fiscal year 2027 for appropriations. Okay. We should have a discussion about this, as far as how we want to handle these appropriations. And I've had a chat there with Corinne and Lisa and whatever, and you know. I'm not so sure if we, whether or not we should just have on one page all the appropriations and then people can pick and choose down through it for the appropriations. To me, there it would just be a good way to feel out the community here as far as where their interests lie.
So rather than having one line item.
Instead of having that in the budget.
So Carl, are you talking about future forward? Because there's two things here. You guys had requested a policy review in tandem with our annual review under our current policy.
Mhm.
And so, there's two halves, which I think could get confusing under, review of our current requests under our current policy. And
Right.
then,
Well, we have to begin policy review, right?
right,
So I'm just talking policy review there if we want to change
okay,
things up here. And I mean, you can fill people in there too. We currently do what you call a hybrid.
mhm.
And so this is just for discussion purposes here right now. I mean, and
Because it really depends on your goals. If your goal is to make it more difficult for people to apply, you would want to lean more toward a petition. If your goal is to make it so that the process is more favorable for North Hero entities versus a statewide entity. If your goal is to reduce the burden on the town office, our current policy isn't great at that.
well, I think that this is what came up there with these
Yeah.
requests. They're always requesting there for the monies. They're not request to be on. Then the request to receive the monies and some of these there, Lisa, and you can chime in there. Some of these, I mean, they come in after, so then you gotta go back to the previous year.
Our current policy basically requests information from appropriation entities that every year we need 3 pieces of information and they're all from different fiscal years. And it's very confusing for entities. So we need a town report that covers the last year. We want a request for release of funds for this current budget cycle we're in, and we want a request to continue appropriation funding for the next fiscal year. And so we send out a reminder and we get maybe one of those, and then they follow up. Which one did I get? Did I do this yet? And then we're going through our internal processes and we're constantly, okay, this organization did this, but not these two. It's all doable, but it is a lot of back and forth and it feels like running in circles and neither side likes it. The appropriation entities are always confused and there's always a lot of staff turnover. So it feels like we're educating them every year.
Well, so if we try to clean the slate here and we do a ballot with all the appropriations and have people check yes or no.
So the easiest thing for the town office is if everybody has to submit a request by petition.
mhm,
And then we would, if the policy said that we would automatically pay it out,
right,
because then it would have voter approval. And we wouldn't have to wait for a written request and try and keep track of those written requests. The downside of that is that it would create an enormously long ballot. And I've heard that other towns really don't like that. I mean, there are issues associated with that. Or more, it takes longer for the ballots to go through the tabulator, so it creates lines on election day, which I don't see as much of a issue in North Hero, we're so small. But
What
also
what percentage?
voter fatigue.
So can anyone file a petition for any reason?
Well, so the social appropriations are authorized in statute, so it would have to follow the metrics of that statute. And a social appropriation, they actually do outline it, first the social good, elder care, transportation. So
And anyone can file a petition.
if they get 5% of the voters,
I don't think we would be so inundated with petitions if we had 5% of the voting public that it would cause a problem for a municipality. I think probably 95% of our appropriations right now will end.
Yeah. And it's 5% of the North Hero population.
Yeah, it's
So
our,
it's running out
it's
of
our
town.
constituents.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You are talking about motivated North Hero voters who are
Mhm.
going out and drumming up signatures to get, a petition in front of the town.
Oof.
I think I'm proud of the support that the town has provided to a lot of these worthy grantees. Or not grantees, but these organizations who have come to us for appropriations. But with the increasing complexity of managing this and, some of the substantial costs that the municipality has in front of us now, I think it might be a good time to pivot into a petition only appropriation scheme. That's my feeling. I don't know what the rest of the board's feelings on it are, but this is not. My motivation here is to deter people from filing petitions for worthy projects. I think it is important, though, that the petitions are coming from within our community, showing a more true reflection of the values of the taxpayers, rather than perhaps receiving a wider group of potential grant recipients that do good work in our community. There's no doubt about it, but the intent is not to discourage, but to place, I think, some more reasonable guardrails on the process. I'll make a motion that. I don't know if we want a motion. I don't know if we want to look at a procedure first.
and what I was kind of envisioning was that at each step of this review process, I would ask, is this what you want in the future, or would you rather this? And then I'd keep a track, and then towards the end, I would present a draft policy.
Okay,
So from this
Works for
discussion,
me.
I would take that you would want a petition
I do.
process.
I do
Okay.
too. As a taxpayer, I'd rather my money be spent here in town. Instead of going more money to Chittenden County or elsewhere.
I mean,
We already send everybody enough money.
so if you'll do that, for him,
Yep.
thank you.
And you're okay with the process moving along with this? Like,
Fine with me.
okay, so this is probably the hard part.
I
So,
think it is,
You made the hard part easy.
so,
Carl and I had a long discussion about how to distill this down into a couple of key points, so. So that just leaves, review of the current appropriation request under our current policy. We do have a new one this year, prevent child abuse. Well, under our current policy, you review them all and you get to determine, yes or no, if they're new, that they'll be on the ballot. So you could say no, and then I would let them know, and they'd still have time to put together a petition. Or you can just agree to put them on the ballot. The other ones, if they're under 2,000 and they've already been through the petition process, you can automatically include them in your budget. If they're over 2,000, according to our policy, they would automatically go on the ballot.
So this one for 1,000 would not be on the ballot? Is that
Well,
what
because
you're
it's
saying?
new, it
Oh, it's
would,
new.
but the reason
Okay.
I've called it out and it's actually on here is because according to the policy, you need to decide whether or not it will be on the ballot as a new request. So it's a new request that's come in. I mean, historically, under this policy, you guys have just put them all on the ballot, let the voters decide.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then if they get approved,
Mhm.
great. If not, the voters decided that.
Since maybe it's the last time we'll be doing this, I'll make a motion to, allow the Prevent Child Abuse Grant request, to stand on our ballot this year.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Claire seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Okay. There. All right, we got 20 minutes to go here, people. Health insurance plan for 2026, review the available plans. My feelings on this here is that I mean, I would like to discuss that here now. I'm not necessarily looking for a motion. I would like to, we have all had time to dive into this, to have us set up a special meeting for that particular topic, and then perhaps there, since it is budget time, that when we have an executive session there that follows there in regards to personnel. So is everybody on board with that?
I am.
Okay, so now we have to set up a time there if you wanna, so that we can all focus in on this. What are available dates and times, Corinne? Or
So
this
this-
whoever has access to.
Yeah, this week is fairly busy. There's a meeting every night except
No, I
Friday.
don't this week.
So next Monday works, next Wednesday works, next Thursday works, 27th, 29th, 30th.
What's your guys' pleasure?
27th works for me.
Which day is that?
It's a Monday.
I
27th.
think Monday would be easier for me to
I think so
remember.
too.
Yeah.
So time, same 5:15 or?
Unless you want to have it earlier, and then I won't be able to make it.
I don't like that idea. All right, so
I'll make a motion that we have a special meeting on Monday, October 27th to discuss employee benefits.
do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I'll give that one to Tim.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
So we're 5:15, is that correct?
5:15. 10:27.
Do you need anything prepared for the personnel discussion? Or are you deciding to fire?
Well, you never know with me.
Is it me?
I mean, are you doing financials? Are you doing I mean, I guess.
I'll get
Kinda
with
left
you.
it.
I'll get with you.
Oh, I just didn't.
I didn't mean I'll get you. I'll get with you. I'll get with you.
Okay.
I
Okay,
mean, Claire,
What's up first?
Claire,
That's
Claire determined what documents should be included in tonight's packet, because we weren't really anticipating special meetings. And Claire's been the one to work with Acrisure, doing a review of all these numbers.
Right, and without for sure, they sent another packet. And, I don't, a lot of it was a reiteration from before, and it was really not necessary to include, I didn't think.
Okay,
for purposes of discussion at our next meeting there, I believe Lisa and Corinne would prefer not to be here for ease of discussion. They're gonna hear us anyway, because minutes and all that, so, is that still the case?
Well, we can present something.
Sure. Sure. Okay,
Before the-
feedback is over.
sounds perfect.
Day, or,
Yeah,
or
Present.
if we go along.
well, so if you don't want us there.
I'm fine.
No,
I think what I'm hearing is that when we start our meeting, maybe the two of you would like to present something to the board and then we can have our discussion.
Okay,
Sounds great.
perfect,
Yeah.
like it.
perfect. I'd love to have you stay for the whole thing, but,
I don't care.
okay. All right, with that, I'll entertain our last motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The local meeting is adjourned at 6:46 PM. I will see you all in about 13 minutes. Well, Steve,
I not sign something?
want.
The warrant. That was last time, but they left me a block at the top, so yeah, it's.
It's gonna stay for just a minute or two, yeah, good for you.
The,
Do we need to do something for you, or you want to set?
I'm off that, yeah.
Not
I
everything.
reached out to Andy last week and, in terms of the type
oh,
of.
you got the signature page, yeah,
Yeah.
I would let you know. Thanks.
correct, you had the signature
Yeah.
page, right? Super duper. Done.
Hi, Harry.
It's still raining.
Good, how you doing?
Is it
still
raining? Oh, yeah.
Any deer yet?
Tracy,
that you
you
like?
said you for development review?
I shot it down.
You guys have to. Lisa's leaving.
Shot it with a 3-inch project. Made big holes.
Sure, it
Are
did.
you all set?
I'm all set.
They're all
And it was a
good.
kind of a
Thank you.
difficult shot, but that made me just want to do it more, so. If she would have walked in a different direction, I would have been a lot better about it, but she walked straight away from me.
That's a tough.
And I was like, if she turns a little bit, she dies. And I put it right up underneath her rib cage and blew it out the front. Took the heart, took the lungs, took everything.
Oh. There you go.
Yeah, but the. I thought I was shooting a 2-inch, but. My neighbor, he came down and helped me find it.
You should stay in on the third,
Did it?
so you should
Yeah.
take advantage of. The third is the CIP.
That was the exit one.
Mm.
Yeah. And that was the entrance. It ripped all the rib meat off there and went out the entrance hole. So when she ran away, I thought I grabbed it back there. And I was like, how did I hit her in, about 5 minutes? Because it's supposed to go up to the front. And I thought I made a mistake, so I already called my neighbor and I said, hey, I probably need some help trashing tonight, because I don't know where the hell she went. I now